Welcome to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
I'm sure you're aware of the Operation Varsity Blues. It kind of broke in 2019 with the college admissions scandal.
Sure.
And there is a documentary now on Netflix that I watched the other week. I think it's just called Operation Varsity Blues, the college admissions scandal. And it's about Rick Singer, who was helping students and by extension their parents get into these highly sought after schools, Harvard and Yale and so forth. And the way he put it, which was kind of in his sales pitch to these people to pay him money to get him in, it was so concise, it made so much sense. There's basically two ways to get into these schools, and he presented a third way. And the three ways are the front door, and that's the traditional or the valid or legit, or you get in because you're really good, or your grades are really great, or for whatever reason you get accepted into the college. The back door is the parents donate millions of dollars to the school, and these numbers were blowing my mind. He was saying you can donate $1 million or $2 million into the school, sometimes more than that, several million, and that still doesn't guarantee that your child gets into that school. They may just take your money and there's your donation and your child still doesn't get in. And some of these schools, you have to be donating like upwards of like $5-6 million, and then you're getting a larger chance that your child's going to get in. But he presented this third way, which is the side door, which if you pay Rick, $500,000, now you're guaranteed, because the front door is definitely not a guarantee. The back door, even at a few $1,000,000, is even not a guarantee, but $500,000 gets you guaranteed. Those numbers are blowing my mind. Like, to think that it might be worthwhile for a parent or parents, because there was lots of them doing it, to pay several $1,000,000 to get your child into a school. But is it? What are your thoughts on that? Does it depend if you're in the right circles and you just have this desperate need to stay in this kind of level of society or stay in this circle? It's worth paying the few $1,000,000 because you have plenty of it? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'm the guy on the opposite end of that discussion. I actually think the whole lottery view of education, and particularly post-secondary education, is just wrong. Sure, somebody with a Stanford, Harvard, Princeton degree, some of those are worth it. That's fine. But let's save that discussion for the 0.1% of the kids that are going to go to those schools. 1 in 1,000. Okay, that's off to the side. And whether a parent believes that it's worth $1 million or willing to go to jail for it, or you just happen to have a rockin' smart kid that's their path. Awesome. All of those are the exception, not the rule. What's interesting if you just look at America overall, then we've got, we're going to have millions of jobs. There's just an article coming out that there's going to be a 2.1 million job shortage in advanced manufacturing by 2030. They're not going to find enough people with skills in robotics, CAD/CAM, advanced manufacturing techniques to actually fill those jobs. And these jobs are going to pay. Whether they start at 15 like an Amazon in a warehouse, they're going to rapidly move up. Okay, so there's a lot of really good jobs in America that don't require necessarily. Some require a 4-year degree, some require a 2-year degree, some require, great, go be a welder. You're guaranteed a 6-figure income if you can weld right now. Okay, so a lot of these don't require Princeton and Harvard and all that to have a great lifestyle. And I think that's what misses everybody, is they think, I've got to get to the highest and best school possible. But if you look at the research, it's not the brand of the school anymore. It's really about the skills. Okay? And one of the things that's most critically important is, right now we just use these academic measures like an SAT or an ACT or a GPA. And what we find is that's one way to measure skills or talent, but it's a very limited way. So 30, 40%. If you look at the Tennessee ACT, the average is about a 20. So we're telling half of the kids in Tennessee that they're less talented. Okay, they're not, these kids making less than a 20, University of Tennessee and all these schools are not busting down their doors to find them. Mm-hmm. Yet every kid has talent, and American industry needs every kid. So I'm far less concerned about how the top 0.1% pursue that lottery-style education at 5 or 6 premier schools than how we start to align and uncover all the talent of these kids across America, and so that we can align them up with the economy and most efficiently get them skills, whether it's at a technical college, a certificate program, software development school, or a 4-year program. Awesome. Mm-hmm. But that's really going to be the trick about how we move forward as a country, is just to uncover these skills, because every student has skills, but they're not all measured academically the same way. And I'll give you an example of that, because it's not just, we can talk about race, we can talk about income, we can talk about gender, and we'll get into all that. But just 2 boys in the same family, my brother and I. I'm that kid that if you throw me in a school environment, I'm going to be one of the winners. I'm, just math, science, all that stuff comes naturally. Both my brother and I went to Georgia public schools, but on a good day for him, he gets a B. Most days, he's a C guy. So when a counselor's looking at him back then, they're looking at him going, man, you're not college material, okay? And have you ever heard of the movie Sky High? It's about, it was like a Disney movie that was about these kids that had superpowers. And they would go to this high school, and they had one of the coaches, and they were either deemed hero or sidekick. That's sort of how we do it right now, is that if you've got awesome academic capabilities, hero. Mm-hmm. You got less than that, you got a different skills, you're a sidekick. And that's really not how it is. America industry needs everybody, because if you look at what my brother's doing, he builds multifamily apartment buildings. That guy, he's an awesome human, and he can build and repair anything. But he's building 130 unit complexes. Yep. And in that environment, I'm no better than a dude with a shovel. Right. I got nothing. Mm-hmm. Whereas certain technology developments and all that, I've got game. Yep. But in his environment, I don't. Yep. And so that one measure called these SAT, ACT, and all that, that's not the only way to look at talent. We got to look at it differently, so that we can get these kids lined up and be their best self.